Welcome back to the Speakeasy Drink Better podcast. This is episode 5. Wow.
Yeah, we're getting on. Here we go.
Oh my God, look at us. We got all set up for a proper podcast too. I feel official now. Oh man. Well guys, as always, I'm John Atkins here with my partners, Alexander Weiss-Brescia. Thank you so much guys again for hosting us in your beautiful home in the Speakeasy, the B-Bar Speakeasy here in beautiful Morristown, New Jersey. So guys, we were talking a little bit, you guys had a little bit of a conversation too, and me being a wine guy for as long as I have, I said something and you guys kind of rolled with this, but I was like saying, wine really isn't fun anymore. And I think that, cocktails are on vogue, whiskey's on vogue, tequila, mezcal, all that stuff, but like wine's kind of slipping, right?
Well, you said one thing, but I think, you know what it is?
What?
Wine's not sexy anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I think, wine's not sexy. It lost its sex appeal.
And you know what I think too about that? The fact is that like wine forever was almost like gatekept, right? There was like an air of like, aristocratic and almost like highfalutin. It's a lot of really weird SAT words. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's like, you think it's only for like snobs, right? It's snobby. Wine was snobby for a while and it kind of lost its sexiness, right? I don't know. But I don't know. Anyways, you said something really kind of cool, right? Because wine right now, it's lost its sauce, it's lost its spice, it's single. So what are we trying to do?
So we are trying to match up wine with a partner. And that's why we are here, guys. So thank you for joining us in this episode where wine is going to take center stage, and hopefully we can get people excited about wine. And like we were joking before, this is like the Bumble of wine. Today we're trying to find wine a partner and just get people excited about drinking wine, because I think it's such a great beverage to
drink
with
at the right time, right place. It's got its spot, and there's different ways of people consuming wine or preferences, but we can discuss that a little bit. One of the things we've been talking about a lot is, especially at Weiss, is how people consume wine. What's the right occasion?
Right.
Things like that, and and there's a difference between how people drink in
the
Europe.
How and the when and the what, right? And I think I personally can't conceive having a steak without a glass of red wine. And I mean, that's just me. And I think for a lot of people too, we tend to think of a steak goes with wine as well as cheese, right? A charcuterie board with wine. It just goes.
But food, right? I mean, I think that's the main important thing here, is that wine is, part and parcel to the consumption of food, especially in Europe. I mean, if you go to, Spain, and you order a glass of wine at a wine bar, you're getting a tapa with it. You're getting some kind of food with it, right? And I thought, what better way to kind of introduce wine to our viewers than to start with Spanish wine.
So we're going on a little trip today.
A little tour of the old world, rock and roll.
No, I agree, because the one thing is, especially with practice, how people here, people will walk up to a bar here and order a glass of wine like it's a cocktail.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's not. Wine is not a cocktail.
No.
Wine goes with food.
Yeah.
Food, it's served throughout the day. It's like their water, lunch, any time of day, it's being consumed.
Exactly.
It's not seen as a negative thing.
And it's normal, right? That's a big thing. And because I feel like people are drinking wine, young adults are coming into their adulthood drinking wine at a young age in Europe, right?
You can't be afraid, because exactly what you said. For $30, you're getting pretty much garbage wine at a Napa. And, you go to these other regions and you're spending, for $30, you're getting a banging bottle of wine, which really, delivers on all those great notes that you get with something that's going to age a little longer, or something that's going to be a couple $100 bottle out of Napa.
Yeah.
Right? So hey, you know what? Go for something. Find these other regions. Don't be afraid. Like anything else, it's about price. Not about price. It's about what you like. Buy some good quality stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of cheap stuff out there. But buy something that's decent. It's not about the price, but buy something that's good quality.
Yeah.
And speaking of culture, I have to agree and say that in Europe, it's so normal. They've normalized wine for centuries. This has been part of the way things are over there. Yeah, it's in their DNA, correct. And here I don't know, sometimes I guess we're afraid of wine, or like I think we talked about this in the very beginning where we're conceiving this podcast on how these wine lists at restaurants. People are like, oh, what is this? People don't even know how to, read a wine list at a restaurant. But I think that, I mean, I'm guilty as charged. I'm one that I'm like, Alex usually will be the one to order wine for us at restaurants. But I mean, if I had to do it, I would. And I think you don't have to be like full expert. Like I don't think I'm a wine drinker. I'm no wine expert by no means, but I'm also, not gonna.
All right. Well, I'm with you. Well, as we get, I got a little anecdote on that one, and we'll talk about it. But as John starts talking about what we're going to taste first, let's get into it. But John, maybe you want to talk about that one, and I'll give a quick anecdote while you start opening that first bottle, maybe real quick.
Yeah, sure. So one other thing that you guys can learn today is how to open a bottle properly. So I wanted to make sure I chose 2 closures that would be something you would typically see. Very specifically for this one, we're talking about cava. Cava comes from Catalonia, okay? So those of you who know Barcelona, it's around that region, in the eastern side of Spain. Directionals are hard for me. But, really, really cool wine made in the traditional method. So think of this without any kind of pretense. This is essentially champagne from Spain. Can't call it champagne if it doesn't come from Champagne. This is traditional method sparkling wine. So if you're a champagne fan, you can get into cava, and it is much less expensive than you would paying an arm and a leg for grower champagne, or even for Veuve Clicquot at $50 a bottle, especially with all the nonsense going on with tariffs and all. So this is a cork and cage enclosure. So where it gets its name is from the cork and the cage around it. Now what I'm doing here is I pulled it out. There's a little key here. This time you're going to go ahead and turn, but I'm going to keep my thumb on top of it, okay? And the reason I'm going to do that is because depending on how the bottle is corked and how much sugar may have been added, or if it's been jostled or anything, this thing might blow. So we keep the thumb on top.
And we brought that back in our suitcase.
That one
just came fresh off
the press in Barcelona. From the trip 2 weeks ago. So
well, this is spectacular. So yeah, this is Condornio. This comes from Barcelona. This is again Méthode Tradicional. For me, this is a cava rosé. So cava traditionally is made from grapes Parellada, Macabeo, and Xarel·lo. Don't worry about the names there. This is just the grapes that they use specifically. Think of it like Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay in Champagne, right? Yeah. So I have my thumb right on the top of it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap my first and second finger here. I'm going to grab the butt of the bottle right down by this. It's called the punt, right down here. And I'm going to turn once. I'm going to feel it move. And then here's the trick. We want to make sure that we just get a little baby fart. That is what you should hear. You should not hear a pop, because the pop means that you've opened it too rigorously and you could risk expulsion of the liquid. Now, how I pour this, if you guys want to grab your glasses.
Here we go.
And we drink out of wine glasses here, those champagne flutes. Lower surface area helps the bubble stay, but for me, I want a little bit more of a serving because I love wine. Now, this sparkling rosé, this is only 11.5% alcohol, which is great because it's going to be so easy for you to just enjoy a couple of glasses of this and not feel like you're going to fall over, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all about enjoying our drink, not falling over because of it. Here we go. Now we have this in our glass. Cheers, everybody. Now I'm going to show you what I usually do. So I inspect the wine. I look at the color. The color's beautiful copper, very nice. Got nice persistent bubbles here. Put the nose in. Beautiful. Get a touch of brioche, touch that red fruit. Really, really nice. Give it a little sip.
So this came from, we actually bought this at Colonial, their cellars, which is actually, it's outside of Barcelona. It's in a town called Sant Sadurní d'Anoia. Mm-hmm. It's in the Catalunya region. It's about, I would say, maybe 45 minutes outside of Barcelona. So
rock and roll.
Yeah, very close by, but beautiful little town, super charming. All the cava cellars are located there.
And they're cava, they're caves, right? And that's where it gets its name, right? Cava cave, right? So it's wine aged in the cave because those temperatures keep it where it needs to be. This is a beautiful bottle of wine.
I'm surprised. I mean, I thought it was going to be, usually, some of these other ones outside of Champagne usually tend to be a little more on the sweet side. This is actually quite dry.
Yes,
Very
and
nice.
on that note, I have to say I'm not a huge like rosé fan, but I have to say that when it comes to cava, like the rosé cava, I'm a huge fan. Probably more than
you're a fan of great wine. That's what it comes down to, right? But this flavor profile is super delicious because you have a touch of that red fruit on the tongue that really helps drive to the back of the palate. Like you feel that acidity up front, like it really just melts nicely. And because it's a little bit lighter in the alcohol at 11.5, whereas most champagne's around 12. This is beautiful. I mean, this is beautiful.
It's nice and light. It's great for summer.
And so, looking what we have in front of us, I mean, a nice little, meat and cheese board, a little fruit. I mean, all of these things go so well together because the acidity in this and the fruit in this helps to kind of prop up the funkiness of the cheese, the richness of the meat, those sorts of things too. So, wine, the interplay between wine and food is something that cannot be understated, right?
And that's also the social aspect, right? This is kind of like the whole breaking bread, and these types, like this type of mix with charcuterie and wine like this is very social versus sitting down for a full meal. It's a little bit lighter, and it goes a little longer versus sitting down for a plate of food. It's kind of like the whole tapas style. More traditional.
Tapas, aperitivo in Italy, like everybody.
Well, Italy, you said something about, celebration. This is definitely used in celebration. You had mentioned a story about somebody that you worked with. Was that it?
No, at my time, when I was studying in Barcelona, I did an internship.
Okay.
As part of my master's program. So I was, working at this company in Barcelona, and I remember the first time that someone came in with a bottle of cava because it was someone's birthday.
Yeah.
And me, like, coming from Honduras, right, born and raised there, my previous job was in Honduras where alcohol, God forbid that someone would show up with a bottle of alcohol in the workplace, right? That is a total no-no. So then I'm in Barcelona at work and someone's like, okay, it's someone's birthday. Pop open a bottle of cava. And I was like...
Well, no, it was during the 2-hour lunch, too, on top of it, right?
No. It was
during the work day.
During office.
In the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
and I was like...
Last meeting at 10 a.m.
No, it just goes to show it's part of the culture, right? It's just like, it's normal.
Having, alcohol, at the workplace with my boss and, all my coworkers. But it's such a normal thing to them. It's, no big deal. And, to your point, they do take 1.5 to 2-hour lunch. And people are drinking wine with lunch during, the workday, which is, again, super normal. They don't see it as it's like a drink.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
And the other piece of part of this, they don't order by the glass. It's a bottle.
Yeah.
It's a bottle or house wine. So, especially when you leave, the city and go out to these other areas. My last trip, we went out to this restaurant, and they had their house wine, and they brought it over, in a carafe or something. Mm-hmm. Spectacular. Great stuff. I'm not saying, hey, listen, this is top notch, but hey, it was so good. It was a great meal.
Yeah.
Nice wine. But that's it. So it's always about a bottle. Very rarely see anybody having a glass with it. Order a bottle.
Because they're going to drink the whole thing. And it's a lot cheaper in Europe. That's the other thing.
Yeah, it's very...
Yeah, so
right?
I'm glad you bring that up because it's so true. You can, in general in Europe, not just Spain, you order wine at a restaurant and it's something. There was a joke years ago, I remember, where they said in Europe, you're better off ordering wine than a Coca-Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Wine is actually less expensive than ordering
because they don't have to import
Coca-Cola. Right? And it's true. In a lot of places, you order a glass of wine or even bottles are, normally priced. Here, I would have to say the markup on wine at restaurants can be a little...
Oh, yeah, but that's how...
threefold every time. And of course, if you want better quality wine, the price gets going. Right? Yeah, it's different if it was a $10 bottle of wine, you're paying $30, but if it's a $50, $60 bottle, you're paying $200.
But let's remember, we are in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And what is New Jersey known for?
Bring your own booze restaurants.
BYOB. So there you go, people. You have that
this is great.
opportunity to bring your own wine to a lot of restaurants.
The conversion for this, I mean, if you were going to buy a regular bottle of cava, if you buy a bottle of Raventos, if you buy a bottle of Perimata is a real favorite one of mine.
But the one on what's it? Freixenet, that's been around for ages, and it's probably $12, $13 bottle of cava.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, but it's good stuff.
But if you want to enjoy something sparkling, the traditional method, and don't want to pay a crazy amount of money, this is a really great place to go. So as we're talking about this, I want you to tell me about your favorite experience that you had this past trip in Barcelona with tapas, with wine. Talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to start opening up the next bottle.
Oh, God, where do we start?
Favorite experience? Tapas. So, well, actually, you know what? We're going to talk a little bit that in our next episode, too, because, this is part one of this. We're really going to focus on Spain. Next episode, we're going to talk about what do you do with some of these wines? There's a couple things, right? There's a couple cocktails, a couple things to twist. And of course, during this last trip, we had a little sangria competition.
Yes.
It was a sangria showdown.
We were trying to like taste test different sangria. That was like we were on a mission to order sangria at every place that we went to and see which one came on top.
I love that.
So we had a lot of sangria.
So break real quick. So what I would just want to let everybody know. So what I'm using right here, this is a typical wine key that we'd see at a restaurant. I did bring some things here. This is the traditional kind of bunny ears type style. I never use this. Wine people don't use this, but it's something that people continue to buy. What I would rather you buy is for the $5 or less, the server's best friend right here that has a little blade here to cut the capsule or wax. This is a spectacular tool. It also has your bottle opener right here, and if you'll notice, it's double hinged, so it makes the bottle open very easily. So as I start to open this bottle, please continue your story, but know that also, one really quick trick, most people like, oh, I gotta cut the capsule. That's this thing right here. You don't have to, you can just pull it right off and that's perfectly fine. Anyway, continue.
Oh my God, I was today 8 years old.
Before I knew that, there you go, that's a good trick.
See, even we were, we're here.
That's what it's all about. I mean, we're teaching people how to drink better, right? And also with drinking better, it means you're drinking smarter. You're getting smarter, you're learning.
Exactly.
Right?
Nothing to be afraid of.
Absolutely not.
So I know we're trying a couple different reds today. I think we'll talk about a couple of them.
Yeah.
Actually, I stopped by our friends down at Bottle Republic today. Picked up some good bottles for the tasting tonight. So, you know, if you guys have a chance, stop by there. They do a great job, great selection.
Yeah, great selection. Not just obviously Spanish wines, which is what we're taste testing today, but they're Italian wine, French wine, Portuguese. I mean,
and they have three locations now, right? So there's one in Franklin Park down by like Princeton. They have the one in Somerset, which is their flagship, their original, and then they opened one in Randolph not too long ago too, right? So
they do really nice, and of course they got a great selection of the brown liquor as well.
Oh yeah.
It's something else, so really.
Yeah, we also picked up a few
couple of bottles there as well.
Could not resist.
But yeah, so I know let's just run down the regions.
Of course.
It's like anything else, you know. There's so much. Spain might be a small country, but there's so many different regions.
Oh yeah, and we're only scratching the surface here. I mean, you want to talk about you know hundreds of native varietals across all the countries that you're going to see in Europe. Spain. Mostly known for Tempranillo. Tempranillo that comes from Rioja, which is actually, La Rioja is actually in the Basque Country, but this is in northern Spain, and Tempranillo, specifically Rioja Gran Reserva is what we're serving tonight. This is Cota de Mas. Spectacular producer. This bottle's $30. This wine has been in this bottle for right about 5 years now. 2017. I mean, you really can't. If you were to look at wines from the U.S. or even certain wines from France, this kind of age on that bottle, it's very hard to come by from anything less than $40, $50. Now. Easily. Now, there are a lot of different stylistic blends of Rioja. The three main grapes are Tempranillo, Graciano, and Masuelo. However, I believe this one is 100% Tempranillo. Maybe a touch of Grenache as well, because that's allowed. Not 100% sure, apologies everybody, but if you see Gran Reserva Rioja, that means that it has to be a minimum of 3 years of age in barrel before it goes into a bottle for another year. So this is a minimum age of 4 years before it's released, right? I'm going to pour it for you guys first because that is important, and I'm going to pour it and not spill any of that. Nice little quarter turn. Now, normally if I was doing my Somm thing, I would have a little serving towel, but beggars can't be choosers, and I think we're in good shape anyway. I think after years of doing this, I figured it out. So off the bat, talk to me a little bit about what you're experiencing in this glass, okay?
Oh yeah, that dark cherry nose.
Yeah, the nose on this.
Very cool.
It's just really wakes up the senses.
Oh yeah.
It's the richness in here is crazy, and you can notice how deep and dark the color is from the extended aging, right?
This is.
Now, for me, I love this because this actually sits at a lower alcohol percentage than you would typically see in a Cabernet Sauvignon. However, it packs the punch that you're looking
sitting
for.
At this one?
14%.
Versus
a Cabernet that can be as much as 15.5%, depending on if you were to get like, let's say Camus or, something.
Overrated.
Yeah, well, hey, let's, we don't have to bash, but yes. At the end of the day, I would rather drink something like this. So isn't that beautiful? So the nose is so bright and expressive. You
Oh,
get
no, I
that
wasn't
dark.
nosing. I already tasted it. Sorry. I'm a step ahead of my friend.
Yeah.
So
The nose is spectacular. It tasted so much better.
baking spices, dark deep fruit, black
Oh,
fruit,
the
blue
deep
fruit,
fruit.
all that.
It's
And
got a great nose on this. Man, I needed a steak to go with this. This
yeah,
is
so and
spectacular.
for you all that like Cabernet Sauvignon, please pick up some Tempranillo, Gran Reserva. You're going to spend half the amount of money on the bottle, and you're going to be just as happy.
Wow, this is very, very nice. It's got that,
Yeah.
it's got that deep note. It's got that deep depth, and it's got a long finish.
Yes.
me.
Yeah, no, it does, but it's also not super invasive. Like it's not over extracted. It's not like crushing in terms of the oak, in terms of the fruit. It's not oozy. It's balanced.
Yep.
And I think that that's the most important thing about old world wine. In most cases, in almost all cases, the wine is balanced. Whereas when you get to the United States, we like our big boozy bottles. We like that, people like bourbon barrel aged wine. Not to knock it, it's fine, but we let the grapes speak for themselves, right? Because the best wine is made in the vineyard. It is not made in the winery.
Yep.
Right?
I agree. Yeah.
No, this is
That's
something.
so true.
I love that mouthfeel, all that dryness.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's silky and it kind of melts and it's really nice. Now, do you have any manchego cheese? You have some hard
Oh,
sheet
there's
goat cheese
manchego
there?
there for you.
So
Of
please
course.
take a bite. So guys, now manchego cheese hails from Spain. It's a goat cheese, I believe.
Manchego?
It's like kind of a hard goat cheese. That's the one. Now, wine and cheese is an incredible combination. The fat makes the tannins of the wine, the fruit, just the richness. The experience is so incredible because what grows together goes together, right? And they're both products of fermentation, and I think it's really important that you notice how good these things are together. So I know that everybody at home has a charcuterie board, and
Just
everybody.
keep talking, John. We're eating. No one.
Yeah, no worries. Everybody at home has a charcuterie board. Everybody has put out a charcuterie board. Guys, serve some wine, serve some Riojas, serve some Gran Reserva, right? Serve some Cava, right? Don't be afraid of it, right? And if you need to, just drop some questions in the comments too. And if you guys have any questions about what some of our favorite wines are to serve with charcuterie, I mean, we can't wait. I can't wait. I mean, I've been in this business for 10 years, and I can't wait to tell you what I like.
So yeah,
Now
I'm blown away. This is very good with the cheese. Great.
And we have a bit of a chill on it too, right?
Yeah,
so
we
that's
chill
super
Yeah, give
important.
them right temperature. Yeah,
Don't
want
be
some warm.
afraid. Don't be
I love
afraid.
chill. I chill. I love my red chill
Yeah.
just enough. Sometimes even a little bit over. Some people might like
Yeah.
a little more chill.
I like 60 degrees. I like 56 degrees is the aging temperature that's recommended for wine. 44 degrees for storing white wine. However, 56 is a little bit chilly for me. I like that around that 60 degree mark, 65 degree mark. I think is great.
58. Let's split it down the middle.
I like that too. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's nice to have a chill on it because I think that it can be a little over assertive. The tannins, the fruit, the phenolic compounds, all the things that are in there. If it doesn't have a chill on it,
Especially in the
it can
summer.
be- Oh
the
yeah.
summertime, especially if you're outside having a nice steak dinner.
Don't be afraid of
A little
chili.
bit further chill. Oh, it just makes it so much more enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Especially in that weather.
So we have a couple other wines here
Yeah,
too.
So give me a little pour here, and you can talk about the other wines there, John, because you
I will.
you left us short here.
Oh yeah, I know. Sorry
no,
about that.
I'm good. I'm gonna wait for the next one.
Oh, there's no more
I'm
today.
tasting. There's one more.
We're doing a bonus episode for you guys after this, and we got a little more fun to do. So otherwise,
Oh, we're
it's
not
gonna.
gonna open another one.
Sure, you can open another. Which one would you like?
You want to open another one?
Sure.
You want to do it?
What are we opening, my friend?
So we're gonna open the Bierzo, that one right there. And remember, use my trick, pull the capsule off. Sometimes it doesn't work. The good thing is with Spain it does. Hey, there it goes.
There it
Oh my
works.
goodness, I have stoked, you know how they
You
say
never
you
do
learn
that?
something new every day?
Yeah, love that, right? Don't work
This is one of my favorite
smarter,
things I've
not
learned today.
harder. Oh,
Speak
one-
easy, drink better.
That's it. Work smarter, not harder. Speak easy, drink better. We like that. We're going to put that on shirts. So real quick, so I have a couple of different tools here. Again, the bunny ears thing, this is what everybody's used to. Don't do this. What Alex is using right now, this is what you want to use. Okay, so what I also have here for the cava, these are some enclosures that you can get that are readily available at different liquor stores. You can also order them online. This one is this is kind of a double clasp, and what you'll do is you'll open this side and you'll place it right on top of the cava bottle and then lock it in, and then it catches at the bottom where the indentation is. and that'll keep it nice and fresh. But this is your best bet right here. So this topper, you press down and turn, and that's going to keep all of the gas inside of the bottle, keep the wine bottle fresh for a very long time, right? The sparkling wine can be fresh for a good...
Yes, and I can vouch for that little caption there. We got that in Champagne, France.
Yeah.
Best purchase ever.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to put the Speakeasy Drink Better logos right on top of it. You guys can get it in the store.
Yeah,
no, we gotta go to Champagne to select them and then get the logo put on.
We have a few of these, but this one in particular from this
small little
Champagne house.
Small producer that we went to in Champagne. And we had such a great
I don't know why I ended up buying this, but oh my god, speaking of like it'll keep your bubbly, we've had bottles like capped with this. And like 2 weeks later, and I was just like, oh, there's no way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Take off this cap and the bubbles, like,
it's absolutely.
Crazy. So
now,
invest in one of these.
For other stoppers, and those are only like you get them for $5 to $10, and like in some cases you get a rabbit, they might be 20. But at the end of the day, it will save your bottle. And if you don't want to go out and buy a Coravan, which we'll do a whole another episode on Coravan, this is a great way to save your champagne.
We should do an episode though, because that's on the list, and
they're
a little pricey, but I think there's
for our wine drinkers, we've turned people onto wine. People are going to want them.
No, I think it makes sense for sure.
So I have a few different stoppers. This one stopper for wine. I like these to a certain extent if you don't have a cork, but honestly, the problem is you can even start to see it. They get dirty. Yep. They're hard to clean, right? So I mean, again, like what did you do? Just throw it out of the way. Yep. The best thing to do is anytime you seal wine, you're going to seal it with its own cork, okay? Not that, right? Not a cava bottle, not a champagne bottle, because it won't fit back in because that's pushed under pressure, right? Now, this same kind of deal, however, if you'll notice, this is much easier to get back into the bottle, right? So what you do is for white wine, you're going to do the same thing as red wine. All you're going to do is wine side down. You're going to grab it, you're going to pinch, you're going to push, and you're going to knock in. Okay, and that's it now. Right here, this can go into a fridge. Red wine, you have about a day. In about 38-degree fridge, you got about a day, right? Once you open it again, do not close it again. Drink the rest of the bottle, okay? Because vinegar. Exactly.
You're on your way to making vinegar.
With white wine, you have 2 to 3 days, right? Yeah. So the tannins aren't breaking down as fast, the oxygen isn't breaking down as fast, right? So what you want to do is you want to consume the wine the same day that you open it. If you cannot, remember, cork in, wine side down into the bottle. Store red wine for 1 day in the fridge, white wine for 2 to 3. Okay.
People take notes. What John just said is very important information.
That's a good one, because it's easier to put it
a lot of
the
people
opposite
don't know
side
this.
down. Usually the wine side.
It is. It's much easier.
The other side goes in easier, so you do the opposite.
But I'm worried.
I've been. Listen, I'm a couple here.
So I'm saying, pay attention. Write it down if you have to. Put it on there.
John's School of Hard Knocks.
Valuable information. Thank you, John.
John's School of Wine Saving Techniques.
He's teaching us a lot too. So.
There you go.
All right.
So what do we got here, John? Let's go.
So we have.
Where are you taking us here? What regions? What do we have in here?
Bierzo, Spain, northwestern, up by the start of the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, just south of that. Really, really cool grape here. This is Mencía. This is a native varietal to northwestern Spain. I really love this wine because it reminds me a lot of Bordeaux style blends. It has slightly more alcohol than our Tempranillo that we were just having, than our Rioja Gran Reserva. However, really, really beautiful rich dark wine, but you have a little bit more lightness. So for me, this reminds me a lot of Oregon Pinot Noir. This reminds me, it has a lot of funk, but it's also really fresh, and the fruit is beautiful. So you're going to notice as this opens, and it's really important. You want to open your wine. Open your wine 30 minutes before you start drinking it, especially for reds.
So we did it wrong just now?
I don't care.
What are you trying to say?
Well, disclaimer. There's no wrong
way of drinking.
There's no wrong way of drinking anything, but if you want to enhance it, this is what you do. So now, this is beautiful. So yeah, right? You get Pinot Noir vibes from this, right?
Yeah, completely.
Totally.
Different nose. You get that little more floral nose with it.
And it's funky now on the palate.
Ooh.
Yeah, right?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Match up like
It has
smell
a little,
the palate completely different, but very good.
Maybe a little bitterness in the end, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's got some funk to it, some bramble. There's probably some stem inclusion in this as well. That's giving you a little bit more bite. That's super popular in Pinot Noir production in parts of France and Oregon as well. But specifically here, what you're getting, especially 2016, like think about that, right? That's been in a bottle for almost 10 years. I would say probably around 7 to 8, right? Because it has to be there needs to be a certain amount of time in the bottle for the DO. But this wine is completely different, and it's only maybe 200 miles west of where this Rioja is produced.
Oh, completely different.
And it has a little bit more of that sea kind of influence as well. There's a little bit of salinity in there too.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm getting something on the back end. It's not this. It's a different finish. Of course, it's a very different drink. This would be. Yeah. I don't know, something about it. It's much lighter. It doesn't come as heavy as.
I agree.
So,
it's much lighter, yeah.
Pinot Noir drinkers, and it's weird because there's more alcohol. It's a paradox, right? Pinot Noir drinkers, like if you drink Belglos, people drink Belglos, people drink Fela, other stuff like that. You can be very happy at home picking up a bottle of Mencia in lieu of picking up a bottle of Pinot Noir. And how much did that bottle cost?
I think it was maybe $20.
$20.
So this is kind of getting into some of those reds that I like to go with fish.
Okay, hey, listen.
Because everybody the other way.
There's no wrong. Like there's no wrong way of drinking it. There's no wrong way of pairing it either.
I agree, and everyone don't pair red with fish.
No.
But this is getting to that one that I like because when I have fish, the fish always I have more lemon and more acidity with it. This kind of will help balance out acidity out. This is kind of that wine where it kind of fits in for me.
Yeah, I like that. I like this. I would like this wine with game as well. It has kind of this funky, mushroomy forest floor kind of quality, and that has to do with the lower average temperatures throughout the year. So for me, Pinot Noir drinkers go for anything from Bierzo, 100% Mencia or a blend.
All right. Well, listen. This has been a great introduction to a great wine region that we're just tip of the iceberg.
A country that puts out some of the finest wine in the entire world. I mean, I feel France is incredible, yes, of course. I mean, Germany Riesling is as a wine person, it's my favorite style of wine. But to me, there's really only 2 places where you get the best wine in the entire world, and that's Spain and Italy. And that's my personal opinion. Take that to the bank, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway,
listen, I'll second you on that.
Yeah. So with that, cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers. And as always, please drink better responsibly. We love you all. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Salud.